Hey folks, welcome back aboard. Today, we're diving into one of the best kinds of boat talk, solid sailboats you can actually afford. I'm talking under 50 grand, ready to cruise, and full of character. These aren't shiny new toys, they're tried and true boats with a bit of soul, perfect for folks who'd rather sail than sit around polishing chrome. Whether you're dreaming of weekend getaways or bluewater voyages, these boats can get you there without breaking the bank. So grab a drink, settle in, and let's count down my top 10 boats you can buy for less than $50,000. The Catalina 30 is one of those boats that just works. It's everywhere, and for good reason. Affordable, easy to handle, and surprisingly spacious, this boat is a favorite for both new sailors and old salts looking for a solid, no-fuss cruiser. Step below, and you'll find a roomy interior with enough space for a couple or small family to cruise comfortably. There's decent headroom, a usable galley, and a layout that doesn't feel cramped, even after days at sea. Out on the water, the Catalina 30 behaves predictably and steadily. It's not the fastest boat around, but it won't let you down when conditions get lively. The large cockpit is a treat, especially for social sailing or sunset anchor beers. With plenty of them on the market, it's easy to find one in good shape for under $50,000, and the community around them is strong. So advice, upgrades, and spare parts are never far away. If you want a boat that's proven itself time and time again, one that's easy to learn on and easy to love, the Catalina 30 is a hard one to beat. The Island Packet 27 punches well above its weight. For a sub-30-foot boat, it feels like a tiny ship, sturdy, safe, and built for serious cruising. What makes it special is the full keel and solid fiberglass construction. This boat doesn't just look salty, it sails like it too. Steady and comfortable even in a swell. It's the kind of boat that inspires confidence, especially when the weather turns a bit moody. Inside, it's surprisingly roomy. The beam carries well through the boat, so the main cabin doesn't feel narrow. There's a real sense of warmth and coziness, like the kind of place you'd happily ride out a storm with a cup of coffee and a good book. The woodwork is classic and charming, and it has just enough systems on board to make cruising comfortable without overwhelming you with maintenance. You might have to hunt a bit for one under $50,000, but they're out there and usually well cared for. The Island Packet 27 is perfect for someone looking for a stout little cruiser that feels like a much bigger boat under sail. The Westsail 32 is the boat that helped launch 1,000 dreams, and for good reason. This is a tank in sailboat clothing. Heavy, full-keeled, and designed with serious blue-water ambitions, it's a go-anywhere kind of vessel. When you see one in a far-flung anchorage, you're not surprised. These boats were built to take a beating and keep on sailing. They're not fast, but they're dependable, which is what counts when you're out in the middle of nowhere. The interior is cozy and classic, with a strong emphasis on function over frills. There's room for a couple to live aboard full-time, with clever storage and solid woodwork everywhere you look. It's not a floating condo, but it's a home if you're into the simple life. And the look of it, those traditional lines, the beefy rig, the sheer heft, just screams seaworthy. The best part? These boats often come up for sale at a surprisingly reasonable price. Under $50,000 can get you one with solid bones, maybe even already refitted by some ambitious dreamer. If you're thinking about crossing oceans without spending a fortune, the Westsail 32 should absolutely be on your list. The Albin Vega 27 is one of those boats that surprises people. It's small, sure, but it's got a serious reputation for punching well above its weight. These Swedish-built cruisers are famous for their toughness. In fact, a few have circled the globe, proving that you don't need a big boat to sail big miles. The Vega has a narrow beam and light displacement, which makes it nimble and efficient. It's a fun boat to sail, and it doesn't need much wind to get moving. Inside, it's compact but clever. There's sleeping space for a couple of adventurous souls, a basic galley, and just enough room to not feel cramped if you pack light and keep things simple. The engine's often a small diesel that's easy to work on, and the systems tend to be minimal, which is actually a plus for low-budget cruising. What makes the Albin Vega 27 shine is its combination of affordability and capability. It's not a boat for the luxury crowd, but it's ideal for a sailor with grit, dreams, and a desire to go far on a shoestring. You can usually find one well below $50,000, and sometimes even under $20,000. The Pearson 365 is a fantastic cruiser for folks who want a bit more space and comfort without breaking the bank. At just over 36 feet, it offers a roomy interior, a center cockpit, and solid sailing ability. all wrapped up in a package that's still under 50 grand if you shop smart. One of the standout features is that center cockpit, which gives you a great view and a safer feeling underway, plus it allows for an aft cabin, a rare treat in this price range. Below deck, it feels more like a small apartment than a sailboat. The layout gives you separation between the sleeping quarters and the main saloon, which is great for living aboard or cruising with a partner. The build quality is solid, and while the systems might need updating on older models, the bones of the boat are strong. Under sail, the Pearson 365 isn't the fastest boat in the bay, but she moves with confidence and handles heavy weather well. She's the kind of boat you can comfortably live aboard and cruise extensively, all without spending a fortune. The Cape Dory 30 is a true classic, solid, salty, and dripping with charm. It's a full-keel cruiser that's built to take care of you when the weather gets grumpy. I've always had a soft spot for these boats. There's something reassuring about their simplicity and strength. The hull feels like it could plow through just about anything, and that traditional look, cutter rig, long overhangs, and a sweet, sheer line just makes you smile. Down below, it's old school in the best way. Tons of warm wood, a cozy saloon, and everything laid out with function in mind. It's not sprawling by modern standards, but it's comfortable and feels like home. The galley is workable, the berths are snug, and the nav station is right where it should be. Performance-wise, the Cape Dory 30 is steady and forgiving. It's not going to win any speed records, but it'll keep you feeling safe and grounded, especially when the seas get rough. You can usually find these boats well within that 50,000 range, often with solid gear already on board. For traditionalists and long-distance dreamers, it's a solid pick. The Ericson 35 is one of those boats that walks the line beautifully between performance and comfort. Sleek and well-proportioned, it's got just enough racer in its blood to make sailing fun, and just enough cruiser to make living aboard comfortable. When you take the helm, it responds in a way that reminds you why people fall in love with sailing in the first place. Smooth, lively, and easy to manage even solo. Inside, you'll find a bright and open layout. It's not as wood-heavy as some of the older cruisers, which actually works in its favor. It feels airier and more modern. There's good storage, a real galley, and enough space to sleep a couple plus guests without feeling like you're all on top of each other. The best part? These boats have aged well, and there's a healthy market for them. You can find a well-cared-for Ericson 35 for well under 50,000, and most of them don't need a full refit to get sailing right away. For someone who wants a bit more zip without sacrificing live-aboard comforts, it's a great fit. The Tartan 30 is another one of those sweet spot boats that just seems to hit the right notes. It's got good bones, a touch of classic style, and a hull that was made to move. While not a bluewater bruiser, this boat has plenty of coastal and even offshore credentials, especially in the hands of a thoughtful skipper. On deck, it's straightforward. Nothing fancy, nothing that gets in your way. Below, the layout is practical with just enough charm to make it feel like a second home. There's decent room for a couple or small crew, and the setup lends itself well to long weekends or extended coastal hops. I've known folks who've lived aboard one happily for years, making slow progress down coastlines and savoring the journey. The best part about the Tartan 30 is how accessible it is. Prices are comfortably under 50,000, often well under, and you're getting a boat that still turns heads and sails with spirit. It's a great pick for sailors who want a little bit of everything: style, performance, and comfort without going broke. The Hunter 33 often gets overlooked in favor of more traditional or bluewater-oriented cruisers, but it deserves a spot on this list for being one of the most livable and forgiving boats in its class. Built with the coastal cruiser in mind, it's got a wide beam that gives it a surprising amount of interior volume. Step below, and it feels more like a 36 or 38-footer in terms of space and headroom. It's not built to cross oceans, but for coastal cruising, island hopping, and extended vacations aboard, it's more than up to the task. The cockpit is roomy and comfortable, perfect for lazy afternoons or social sails, and everything's laid out with ease of handling in mind. Roller furling, reliable gear, and a manageable sail plan make it an excellent option for short-handed sailing. What really stands out about the Hunter 33 is the value. They're widely available on the used market, often with modern amenities amenities already in place. For someone who wants to get out on the water and enjoy the cruising life without obsessing over every nut and bolt, it's a great, low-stress choice under 50 grand. Last but definitely not least, the Cal 34 is a gem for sailors who appreciate a boat that's both dependable and a joy to sail. It's got a timeless design, clean lines, solid construction, and a reputation for surprising performance. Many folks underestimate these boats until they actually sail one, and then they get it. This isn't just an old cruiser, it's a boat with a bit of zip. Inside, it's modest but functional. You won't find luxury finishes, but you will find a thoughtful layout that makes cruising simple and comfortable. There's decent storage, a workable galley, and enough space to make live-aboard life possible, especially for a couple or solo sailor. It's a great platform for DIY upgrades too, since the systems are generally straightforward and easy to access. You can usually snag a Cal 34 for a great price, well under $50,000, and still have room in the budget for some upgrades. If you're the type who enjoys a spirited sail and doesn't mind a boat with a little character, the Cal 34 might be your perfect partner on the water. And there you have it. 10 solid sailboats you can find for under $50,000. Each one's got its own flavor, its own strengths, and its own story to tell. Whether you're dreaming of slipping away for weekend anchorages, planning a coast-hugging adventure, or even eyeing that big blue horizon, there's a boat on this list that can help you get there without emptying your wallet. The truth is, you don't need the newest tech or the flashiest design to chase the dream. What you need is a good hull, a little grit, and a boat that speaks to you, one that makes you want to wake up early and hoist the sails. These boats have taken plenty of folks just like you and me to amazing places, and they're still out there, waiting for a new skipper with a sense of adventure. If you've owned one of these boats, or if you're eyeing one, drop a comment and let me know. I love hearing your stories. And if you've got another boat in mind that fits the budget, don't be shy about sharing it. Until next time, fair winds and following seas, my friends. See you out there.